say that Away is based loosely on an apocryphal story which, just as I did, a lot of journalists in Alaska in the mid-1920s fell in love with. But as I did the research in Alaska, it became pretty clear that maybe a woman walked to Russia across the frozen Bering Strait, but probably not. So what I concluded is that there was no real woman. There were no, in fact, useful, enduring records. That it was a concept that had captured people's imagination back then, just as it did for me, and I was free now with a blank canvas. So for me, the story of Lillian Labe, my central character, the Ulysses of the novel, I wanted to have those details both correct and also fresh, so that it wasn't for the reader as if they were looking at the page and saying, oh, how interesting that in 1924 people did such and such, but they actually felt that they were walking with Lillian down the street. An older man squats down beside her and says, we stop at Echo Creek for a spell and let the tenders take over. It's a short traveling season, girlie. You think I should go on my own? Lillian asks. Again, she thinks. He who travels fastest travels alone, goes for she too, I guess. I got some buddies up there that'll help you out. It's a lot of walking, but if you're in a real hurry, I am, she says. There's no point in saying that she is in a real hurry to sail up the Yukon to the Bering Strait and walk into Siberia to find a child she has not seen for almost 2 years, but whom she has high hopes of finding. Lillian herself would feel a sort of sorrowful contempt for a woman who said such a thing. I think for most people who come to this country, they do not come first class, they do not come speaking fluent English, and they do not come with sponsors and $15,000 in the bank. So it's pretty safe to assume that now as then, people who change their lives, uproot their homes, and reinvent themselves as Americans do so not just because it seems like a good idea, but propelled by the tragic. It seems to me that every writer has only one subject. Whether I like it or not, my subject is love. And so being able to write about passion and romance and sex and love and tremendous errors in judgment done in the name of all those things is always what's interesting to me. Reuben's eyes are closed, so Lillian closes her eyes too. They have more time somehow than she thought, and she relaxes. Drowsy, unmindful, at ease, adrift in the bed, she feels herself fall through the sheets, the mattress, the linoleum floor, through the New York rain that has been falling for 2 days, through the pocked asphalt street, through the ocean and the sand beneath, back to life before everyone was killed. My wish for Away, as it is for everything I write, is that it should be, as John Gardner said about the best works of fiction, a dream. That my job is to make it possible for the reader to enter a world so completely they forget that there are pages and a cover. Whichever piece of the book, whether it is the story or the characters or the language that stays with them, I'm happy for that piece.